Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phillies hosted Vidcast, and today I am joined by Everything Nationals, as he's going to come on here and recap this series sweep for the Nationals as they sweep out the Phillies in a 5-game series as the Phillies lose 6-3. Everything Nationals, welcome on the Vidcast, man.
Hey, it's nice to be here.
Yeah, it's nice having you. I never really had I don't think I ever have had a fan from a different team come on, so this is something I've tried it. I tried it with some guy from San Diego, and that unfortunately we weren't able to work out of time. So I was happy that we were finally able to do it. Of course, it's like game 159, but still able to do it in 2019 season, and in 2020 it's going to be even better. So thank you all so much for watching this video, as we're going to be talking about this disappointing. Well, for me, it's disappointing, not for Everything Nats. But the Nationals have just destroyed the Phillies this year. We'll talk about that later. The Phillies only won one game in D.C. the whole entire season, back when Harper launched a home run in his return. That was the only game they won in D.C. this year. So absolutely pathetic for the Phillies. They should really just be ashamed. So absolutely terrible. So why not just jump into it? Bottom of the first inning, as Jubal Carrera hits a sacrifice fly to center. Victor Robles scores. It's the Nationals 1 and the Phillies nothing. Then Michael A. Taylor hits a home run to center, and it's now 2-0. And Cesar Hernandez launches a home run to right field. It's now 2-1. And Yan Gomes, who has hurt the Phillies the whole entire series. First of all, Adam Hazley robbed Yan Gomes of a home run in the bottom of the first inning. Yan Gomes totally destroyed the Phillies in the series. 2 home runs. It could have been 3. And he walked, and Rendon scored. It's now 3-1. Then Cabrera is another guy who killed us in the series, another former Philly who always has a number, scores on a wild pitch, and it's now 4-1. Then Zimmerman Zimmerman scored, and it's now I think that's a mistake from ESPN, and it's now 5-1. They had Zimmerman scored, and Zimmerman scored twice. I don't know why. Bottom of 7th inning, as Jubal Cabrera launches a home run to center, went right over the head of Adam Hazley, 401 feet, and it's now 6-1. Top of the 8th inning, after JT Muto is out for the remainder of the season because of the surgery he's going to have. I don't know if I talked about that. I'm sorry if I haven't yet. It's been so busy. There's so much stuff going on, and I just don't have time. I should have brought that up because he's one of our best players. If I didn't, I think I might have, but if I didn't, then, Andrew Knapp homers to left center. Franco scores. It's a 2-run shot. It's now 6-3. And that's your ball game. The Phillies lose 6-3 to the Nationals. So they get swept out in the 5-game series. In the 5-game series, you get swept out. The Phillies that's pathetic. It's really pathetic. And as they drop a game below 500 for the first time this year, and they're going to try to not finish below 500, which are probably going to end up having the same exact record as they did last year, which is absolutely pathetic. Cesar Hernandez, 2 for 4, 1 run scored, 1 RBI, 1 strikeout. Bryce Harper, rough day at the plate. Steven Strasburg definitely had his number in this one. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Rhys Hoskins, 1 for 4, 229 hitting first baseman. Another guy's pathetic. 3 strikeouts. Brad Miller, 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. Gene Segura, 1 for 2. Sean Rodriguez, 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. Adam Hazley, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Michael Franco, 1 for 3, 1 run scored, 1 strikeout. And Andrew Knapp, 2 for 3, 1 run scored, and 2 RBI, 1 strikeout. And Jason Vergara, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And Nick Williams, 154 hitting, quote, power bat off the bench, is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And Luka Morrison was 0 for 1. Jason Vargas got the loss in this one. He went 4 1/3, 6 hits, 5 runs. Only 4 of them were earned, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. His last start as a Philly. He won't be back next year. Garcia, 2/3 of an inning, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Austin Davis, if this guy's on the team next year, I'm going to be so furious. 2 innings. We didn't pitch terribly. He has a 6.86 ERA, and this guy should have been off the team a while ago. 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. Nick Pivetta, an inning, 2 strikeouts. And I don't care that Nick Pivetta had a good game. He still is overall a horrible pitcher. So that's your ball game. So last time the Phillies will face the Nationals in 2019 as they go home to face the Miami Marlins 3-game series. At the end of the video, we'll talk about that. So I know I did most of the talking here, but this is obviously, if you watched videos with guests before, obviously I give, after I review the game, then we'll ton of talk. So I'm going to turn it over to you for a little bit. So obviously the Nationals have owned the Phillies all season long. So what did you think about this series and how the Nationals have just completely dominated the Phillies in this series? What do you think about that from a Nats perspective?
So coming into the series, I expected to win the series. I didn't expect to get a 5-game sweep. This is the first time in Nats history we've had a 5-game sweep against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And in the series, a lot of the players who were generating our runs were unexpected. Like Taylor hit a home run today, went 3 for 4. That's his second start back. He's been terrible all year.
Mm-hmm.
Cabrera 2 for 2 with 2 walks today.
Mm-hmm.
He's been good as a Nat. He got DFA'd as a Ranger, though.
Mm-hmm.
And Turner, Grand Slam. Rendon and Soto didn't really do much damage this series.
Yeah.
But it's good to see going to the postseason that
you could have more than one player.
Soto.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. You made a really good point there. And as you said, Taylor is hitting I think he's hitting like 226 or around there. So he's obviously not having the best of seasons. And as you said, I mean, the runs you got in the series were totally unexpected. Now, I'm sure what the answer is going to be. I can already know what the answer is going to be for this one. Do you think this is a confidence booster for the Nationals? So obviously, we're still have 3 more games left. Do you think this is a confidence booster for them going into the postseason?
It is, of course. A 5-game sweep is always going to be a confidence booster. But I was talking to someone today, and they were talking about how almost all these wins right before the wild card game is almost a bad omen because they'd be almost due for a loss.
Mm-hmm.
But a 5-game sweep for anyone, especially someone as good as the Phillies, who were started off really well, it's always a confidence booster.
Totally agree with you. It's. I think the Nationals, maybe we see them win a playoff series this year. I don't know. Anything's possible. It would definitely be ironic to see since Bryce Harper's no longer in the Nationals uniform. So obviously last night we heard about the alleged comments that were made. Apparently someone went after Bryce Harper, or I knew it was Kayla. According to her, she got a DM saying that they wished her son had autism, which is not a nice thing to say. So, I mean, I already know what the answer is going to be here, but, as a Nat fan, I mean, I don't think that – I mean, that's pretty rare. I don't – like, you could say, well, all the Nats fans, they're so bad. Well, like, that's not all of them. I mean, like a majority of them, like 98% of them, the Nats fans, even the ones who boo him, would even say that that's just completely classless. Do you agree?
100%. Every single Nats fan I've talked to has said that's crossing a line, no matter what.
Totally agree. And, I don't know who said that, but apparently I don't know if it was said to Harper in the field or I know Kayla said she had a DM to her. I don't know if it happened both times, like if Bryce heard it and she heard it, but either way, that's still not a nice thing to say, of course. So definitely some bad blood brewing between the Harper family and the National fans, some of the National fans. Now, Harper did go deep in the series against Hunter Strickland. Obviously, they got in a huge fight, and Harper's always had good career numbers against Hunter Strickland. So everything Nats was actually at this game. How loud was the crowd booing? You could obviously hear it on TV, but how really loud was the crowd booing on when you at the game?
They were booing pretty loud. I was booing, but I wasn't really booing to boo. I was booing because I kind of have never really booed at anyone like that before, and the whole stadium was doing it.
Yeah.
But since he was pinch hitting in, what was it, 7th or 8th?
Seventh, yeah.
It was his first at bat, and everyone wanted to boo him. So when he came up, it was pretty loud. And I was saying to the person next to me, he's going to hit a home run. And, well, he did.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually looked like he was going to walk. He was like, Strickland fell behind 3-0, and then he got like a borderline call, which it was a strike. It caught the middle half of the plate. And then the very next pitch, he launched a home run. So that was definitely fun to see for a Phillies fan. I guess that was like the only good thing to happen in the series, I guess. That's the only thing I could sit here and say I'm happy about. I don't really think there's any – obviously, Adam Hazley lobbing a home run. I don't really think there's any highlights of this series. Other than
Miller.
– what was that?
Brad Miller?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brad Miller. Yeah, of course.
I forgot about that.
Great series. So, yeah, those 3 things are pretty cool. But obviously, I'm really, really hoping, as much as I don't want to see the Phillies lose at this point, I think just lose 2 out of 3 to Miami or something. Like, I want to see our manager go. I really do, especially with Joe Madden possibly being available this offseason. I really don't want to see Kapler. I really don't want to see him back in 2020. So we kind of touched on that. What are your feelings towards Bryce Harper, even though he's on the Phillies? I think I want to get a Nationals perspective for the fans. Like, what do you still like him, or do you think that, obviously since he's a rival to your team, you don't really care for him anymore?
I don't quite like him anymore, but I don't dislike him anymore because of how much hate he got for hitting 250, which, I mean, I'm an advanced stat guy, so I look at the advanced stats, and he's hitting 250, but his advanced stats are still top of the line. He's still an amazing hitter. So I kind of pull for him in that way, but I can't really like him as a Nats fan, and thinking of the bigger picture of possibly re-signing Rendon with the money that we would have used for Harper is a big plus. So,
And you could kind of justify Mike Rizzo not bringing him back because they had Juan Soto, Adam Eaton, and Victor Robles. Do you agree with that, or do you think that they could have maybe tried to fit him in?
I think letting go of Harper is going to only help the development of Robles, because I don't think he would have started over Eaton if Harper was on the team, because of course Harper and Soto are guaranteed starters.
Right.
So Robles wouldn't be every day with Harper on the team.
Yep, and that's good. I mean, Robles isn't having the best of seasons, but I think the best is yet to come for him. This is just the beginning for him, I think. So, as we were just discussing, I think that Robles will develop into a very good pitcher. So, or center fielder, excuse me. I don't know why I said pitcher. The reason I was thinking about pitcher is because we're about to talk about the Nationals rotation going into the postseason. How good? Obviously, it's very, very bolstered up. It's really, really good. We got Corbin, Strasburg, and Scherzer at the 3 top guys. So they've really panned out really well this year. Obviously, I know Scherzer kind of had some injury problems, for a little while. But Corbin's been great. So how confident are you going into this postseason with the rotation that you have?
I'm pretty confident, especially because of Anibal Sanchez, who's been amazing since his injury. So I think we can win the wild card game, which we were talking about using Corbin, Strasburg, and Scherzer for 3 innings each, just to make sure we don't have any bullpen problems. And a 5-game series when you have Scherzer, Corbin, Strasburg is always favorable for you.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's definitely not fun for the opposing team to look up at the lineup card and see that they're going to facing those 3 guys. That's for sure. So since we kind of talked a little bit, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, well, they're looking at Strasburg, Corbin, Scherzer. When we're looking at Buehler, Kershaw, Ryu.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy either. But it's definitely going to be a tough road for all these teams pretty much. And obviously some teams easier than others. But it's going to be an interesting postseason to see how it all plays out. How far do you see the Nationals going?
Optimistically, I want to say the World Series, but realistically, I'm going to say the NLCS. I don't think we're going to beat the Braves, just because I think a 3-game series is good for our staff, but I don't see us in a 4-game series. I mean, a 7-game series or a 5-game series. So.
Right. That's true. We kind of discussed a little bit the Nationals. Let's talk about the Phillies. What a disappointment they've been all season long. I think we were all fooled into thinking that they were going to be a huge playoff contender. Obviously, they went out and signed Harper and traded for some good players. And here we are right now on September 26th, and they are in 4th place. They've been eliminated. They're 1 game under 500. What an absolute embarrassment for the city of Philadelphia. Obviously, they lost McCutchen, but it's only 1 offensive player. I mean, that shouldn't be enough to really damage an offense that much. And the pitching hasn't been good all year long. So overall, a disappointing season. Obviously, from a Phillies perspective, I'm really upset about this. But as a Nats perspective, like watching it from afar, what do you think about how the Phillies season has turned out to be?
It's more disappointing than I almost wanted. I almost wanted more of a 4-way battle for first between Mets, Phillies, Nats, Braves. But it was really just Nats, Braves, and then it just became just the Braves almost guaranteed, and the Nats almost guaranteed for the wild card pretty early.
Yeah. Well, we all remember like way back in May, the Nationals were 12 games under 500, and we all thought that Martinez was, going to get fired. And I remember like watching these videos on YouTube. They're going to be like, oh yeah, Martinez is fired, and the Nationals have to go like, what was it, like 90 something? I forget what the exact record was, and they did it. I never knew that they were going to be able to do it, but they did it. I can't believe it. Even like that was like 4 months ago, and I still can't believe that Nationals pull it off. It doesn't just happen. I've talked about this before. It doesn't just happen. That takes a leader to step up to make that happen. That doesn't just magically just happen. Like they, bringing in Para, and can you talk about what a big impact he's had on the Nationals?
Para has just made this team gel. You can tell just before when we were 19 and 31, 12 games under, you could see we were all trying to be the hero. We were all trying to do what we needed, what we need to do. But when Para came, he added an aspect of fun and made the team play together rather than as individuals. Next man up mentality, and you could just tell how much they've changed from that time. And I think I always said it's all because of Para.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the baby shark.
Got a headband for him yesterday. Tuesday.
That's almost like the Fanatic headband for us, pretty much. At least yours is more important because you've actually made the playoffs and did something, other than like the Phillies. But overall, I think it's obviously a very disappointing season for the Phillies, especially against the Nats. I mean, I was talking about this before. I don't know if this is on air, but the Phillies only won one game in Washington this year. One game. That was when Harper returned to DC. It's absolutely terrible. The Nationals won 2 out of 3 series in Philly. They won that series in April, and then they won the series in July, and the Phillies won that series in May. So the Phillies only won one series against the Nationals all season long. So absolutely horrible. The Phillies' biggest struggle was the Nationals and the Marlins. They need to be better against those teams next year. I think they did not do terrible against the Braves. They actually did better against the Braves than they did the Nationals. They destroyed the Mets. That was nice to see. I'd much rather see the Nationals make the playoffs than the Mets. There's nothing I hate more than seeing the Mets make the playoffs. I think we all hate the Mets. So
we all hate the Mets. I used to be a Mets fan.
You were?
So my dad is a Braves fan and my mom's a Mets fan.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of weird.
Oh, so there's like the 3 National League teams in your family.
Yeah, but over time they just almost become Nats fans.
Oh yeah, well, that happens sometimes when you like move to an area and everyone likes this team, and you're kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna root for them too. So that happens. But overall, that's how the season went with the Phillies and Nats. The Nats just definitely had the Phillies number, and the Phillies pitching was not good against the Nationals all year long. And they're really not good against anybody in that matter. They did not score any runs against the Nationals, barely any runs all year. They averaged like maybe 2 to 3 runs per game, which is terrible. And the Nationals just teed off of our pitching. So as a Phillies perspective, not a good year against the Nationals. From the Nationals perspective, if I was a Nats fan, like everything Nats, I mean, I'd be very happy right now, as I'm sure you are. So we've kind of talked about his hopes for the playoffs. Now this is going to be a final segment on here, the final 2 or 3 minutes of this video for 2020. What do we see happening in 2020 with most of these teams? By the way, the Nationals got their 90th win of the season. By the way, what do you see happening with this by the end of the year? Like, what do you see? Or next year rather. What do you see happening in the NL East?
Being honest, I don't like the Nats' chances next year with Rendon in a contract year, and he's going to need a lot of money, and Strasburg potentially opting out, and it's just a lot of our players are free agents this year or next year, and I don't see us having the money to re-sign all of them or to get anyone new, really. And the Phillies, they don't have that many, if I'm not mistaken, players in contract years. Like Harper, of course, going to be there for the rest of his career. Hoskins has, 5 more years in his contract?
Yeah, I think he's 2024, I think.
Yeah, they're the two biggest hitters, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, Hoskins is really falling off, but go ahead.
He was amazing first half. If he could just keep that up, he'd be.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been absolutely terrible. But do you see Steven Strasburg opting out?
I didn't until I saw an article about it. And I still don't think he will, but I didn't even realize he had an opt-out until I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, that would not be good for the Nationals if they would lose one of their 3 horses. Yes, you got that. Obviously, Rendon. Do you think the Nationals keep Anthony Rendon?
I think they will.
What years?
He's either gonna.
What money in years?
He's gonna get more per year than Arenado, so around like $34 million a year, maybe. I'll say 6 years. 6-7 years. But he's either going to be a Nat, a Met, or a Ranger.
A Met?
Yeah.
Oh God!
The Mets they don't like to rebuild. You know that. Everyone, a big name in free agency, they like to sign him.
Oh, I hate that. And the Phillies not going to get him because they've outbowed. But Rangers would definitely be interesting since it's close to home. Yeah. You think he's from Richmond, right? Texas?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think he is. From there, would you like to add any more thoughts before we wrap this up?
Just one thing about the Harper booing the heckler. He was talking about his son. The one on, what was it, Instagram DM?
I believe so. Or Twitter DM.
I'm not sure who that person was a fan of. Probably a Nationals fan. But I did see that the guy at the park yelling at Harper was actually a Red Sox fan at a Nats game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone commented about that actually. Yeah, thanks for adding that in. So, it's good for the fans to know. So I'm going to preview this. Marlins come to town for 3 games. As I said, they're 55 and 103 guys. This is the last season. Last series of the season, guys, and much as the Phillies are really bad, and I'm gonna miss this. I really just like to thank you. You really, I'm gonna miss talking to you guys every day. It's gonna have a couple months off, so I'm definitely gonna miss you guys. Lopez 5-8, the 4.96 ERA going against Vince Velasquez, who's making his final start of the season. The Phillies shut down Aaron Nola, by the way, for the remainder of the season. Good move. He's tired, and I think he made the right decision. Not a good year for Aaron Nola. I expect much more next year. 4.76 with a And the second game, Smith 10-10 with a 4.31 ERA going against Zach Eflin 9-13 with a 4.16 ERA. And the final game of the season, 305. Alcantara 5-13 with a 3.95 ERA going against to be determined for the Phillies, and I'm not sure who that will be. So it's 705, 605, and 305. So that's your final series of the season, guys. That's it. Crazy. So thank you all so much for watching. I'd like to thank Everything Nats for coming on. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate having you on.
Anytime.
Of course. See you all later.